Hello everyone, welcome to Unshackling Sudokus and Puzzles. Today I'm going to solve a Sudoku created by chocchip. This has been taken from the blog of the author chocchip Creations, and this Sudoku is titled Too Hot to Handle My Neighbors, and it is a thermo non-consecutive Sudoku. I'll add the link to the author's blog in the description of the video. It has some nice Sudokus, please do check it out. It would be nice to solve them. The link to solve this Sudoku is in the description of the video. Now let's jump into the rules. Classic rules apply. So each row, each column and 3x3 box in the grid has digits 1 to 9 without any repetitions. And thermo Sudoku rules apply. So in any thermometer, starting from the round bulb until the end of the thermometer, the digits will be strictly in increasing order. So for example, you could have 1, let's say 4, 7 and 9 here. The digits are in strictly increasing order. And similarly for this branch of the thermometer, you could have 1, 2, 3 and 8. So, and the final part of the rule is that digits on thermometers, I think only on thermometers, right? Just a second. Yeah. Digits in orthogonally adjacent cells must not contain consecutive digits. So which means any two adjacent cells, either vertically or horizontally, will not take digits which differ by 1. If you have, let's say 7, for instance, here, this cannot be a 6 or 8, right? That would violate the rules. So these are the rules. Really interesting Sudoku. So let's start this now. I've just changed the Sudoku mode here to normal and center. Let's start the Sudoku. Let's start with the thermometers here and start with the minimum most value. The minimum value here must be a 1, and which means this must be minimum 3. It can't take a 2 because then these two would be consecutive. This will be minimum 5 and this can't be 6, so minimum 7. Now let's go with the maximum values. Maximum should be I think let's use corners. Corner marking would be good, right? Let's use corners. So minimum 1, 3, 5 and 7, and maximum would be 9. This can't be 8, so maximum would be 7. This can't be maximum, this can't be 6, so maximum would be 5, and this can't be 4, so maximum would be 3. So I did nothing, basically just started from the bulb and put the minimum values for the thermometer, and again started from the reverse direction, put the maximum values. So this gives the range of digits that can go into these cells on the thermometer. Now let's do the same for this branch of the thermo. Minimum here is 1, so this will be minimum 3, 5, 7. So just like this branch it works. So maximum would be 9, it cannot be 8, so 7, cannot be 6, 5. So this is again a 3. Okay, now let's look at this branch of the thermometer. It works the same way. So this is minimum 3, minimum 5, minimum 7, and maximum again would be 9 here, a 7 here, a 5 here and 3 here. So now let's try to work around this these possibilities. We should be able to get some elimination here. So this cannot be a 3, because if you have a 3 in here, then look what these two cells become. They will become 4 and 5, right? And 3 will be adjacent to a 4, either in this cell or this cell. So this can never be a 3, which means that the maximum value that can go here is only a 2. Right? So again, I'll just brief the same. So if this takes a 3, this cell becomes a 4 or a 5, and this will also be a 4 or a 5, right? Minimum will be 4 and maximum is 5. So 3 gets consecutive to one of the cells. So which is why this is maximum 2. So which means I can remove the corners and write some center digits there. So this is 1 or a 2. And now I can remove the can I can't. This can still be 3 and this can still be 1, right? So nothing yet can be removed. Look at this cell. Can this be a 5? If this is a 5, then look what these two cells become. So they would have to be 3, 4 and 3, 4, right? Because 5 goes here, so it becomes 3, 4 and this becomes 3, 4. Remember that these are all the range of digits that can get in the cells. So which means that 5 becomes adjacent to consecutive digits, which is not possible. 5 is ruled out from there. This is not a 5, this is a 6. Let me write 6, 7. Okay, so now that we've got 6 and 7 as the only possible digits, it makes sense to replace them with center candidates. And now, since this is 6 or 7, this cannot be a 7. That has to be 8 or a 9, and which can be replaced again to 8, 9. And similarly, this cannot be a 7. That becomes 8, 9. And that removes the corner from there. So, this cell, row 4, column 3, can that be a 7? Not possible, because the moment this takes a 7 here, this will be a 9. And what can go here? This, the range is 7, 8 and 9. The range is rather 7 to 9, so which means that you must have an 8 here. That makes 7 adjacent to 8, so not possible. 7 is ruled out from there, so it becomes 5, 6. And which means this is not a 5, 3 or 4. Let me write the centers. 3, 4. Okay. This still can be 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's do the same thing on this thermometer. I think the action has stopped here. This cell, this can't be 7, guys, because it's adjacent to an 8. So this has to be a 6, which means this cannot be a 5. This can maximum be 4. So let me put a pair there, 3, 4. And 3, 4 pair is adjacent to this cell, so this can't take a 2, which means this is 1. So 1, 3, 4, 8, 9 and 6 is here, so this is a 5. And which means this is a 3 and that is a 4. Because you can't have 4 here, that would make it adjacent to the 5. So that's a 3 and that's a 4. Now I can write the remaining cells in the box, which are 2, 7. And notice that this cell, row 6, column 3 is adjacent to an 8. So this cannot be 7. So that's a 2, that's a 7, which means this must be 8. This cannot be 8 now. This is 9, this is 8. So the start is really smooth, guys. I love the start. And this cannot be a 6, so this is 5 or 7. This cannot be 8, so this is 7 or a 9. This cannot be a 4, so this is 3 or 5. And time to remove the corners. 5, 7, 7, 9. Excellent. So let's move to this box now and do the same thing. 1 minimum, 3 minimum, 5 minimum and 7 minimum. So let's start with the maximum values. 9 is ruled out. It can't be 9, so maximum is 8, which means maximum would be 6 because 7 is ruled out. These two cells are successive or rather adjacent and they can't take consecutive values. So maximum would be 6, but notice that 6 is already in the box, so maximum would be 5. But 5 is also the minimum, so which means that this cell has to take the 5. And maximum here would be 3 and minimum is also 3, so that's a 3. And this cannot be a 2, so this would be a 1. 1, 3, 5, 4, 6, 8. So these 3 cells along the row must be 2, 7 and 9. Now look at this cell 7 here. So this can't be a 7. This has to be 8. Okay. And 1, 3, 5, 8, 2, 7, 9. So these two cells, this domino has exactly two possibilities. That must be 4 and 6. And 3 is adjacent to this cell. So that takes a 6. And this becomes a 4. And now these three cells can be filled in. So 2, 7, 9. Oops. And this can't be a 2. This can't be a 2 because 2 will be adjacent to 1 and 3. That becomes 2 here. And this becomes 4, 6, and 8. And now these three cells can be quickly written. They must be 1, 3, and 5 because they are along the thermometer and digits must increase. Now these two cells are adjacent to 1 and 3. So 2 can't go here. So 2 goes here. And these become 7, 9. And 7 and 9. So 8 can't go in any of these cells because 8 is adjacent to both 7 and 9. So 8 is removed from here. That becomes 8. Wow, you can see that the middle three boxes have been resolved. Look at this cell. This can't be 7. This has to be 8 or a 9. Look at this cell. This can't be 6. So it has to be 7, 8, 9, and 8 is ruled out. So 7 and 9. So really hard to imagine that despite this much emptiness in the grid, it still manages to resolve. It's a beautiful Sudoku grid. So let's finish off this thermometer before going over to this one. The minimum value here must be a 3. Let me use corners 3. Minimum here would be 5. Minimum here would be 7. Maximum would be 9 here. Maximum would be 7 here. Maximum would be a 5 here. Okay. And 7 cannot go in this cell, just like the idea we used in here. If this is 7, then both of these cells become 8, 9, and 7 will be adjacent to the 8. So 7 is removed there, it becomes 5, 6. And this cannot be 5 anymore because both of these will be successive. That becomes a 3, 4. Okay, so nothing much in this area, I think. Let's look at these cells now. So minimum is 2 because 1 is ruled out. So minimum is 2. So which means minimum would be 4. Minimum here has to be 6. And minimum here has to be 8. But 8 is not possible. So 9 is forced. And let's look at the maximum along the reverse direction. 9. Maximum has to be a 7 here. Maximum has to be a 5 here. Maximum has to be a 3 here. Okay, all these cells have exactly two possibilities. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's remove those. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 and 7. Let's look at this cell. This is minimum 5, right? Because 4 is here. This would be minimum 3, but 3 becomes adjacent to consecutive to this cell, and 4 is also ruled out. So this is minimum 5, and which means this will be minimum 7. Now let's look at maximum. Maximum would be 8, and which means this maximum would be 6. Okay, again these two cells have just the two possibilities. 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's remove the corners. Okay, so far so good. One is not in this column, so one goes here, and one is not in this row, one goes here, and one in row 3 goes here. And if I look at this row, it's almost constrained. 8 can only go in these cells. So 9 can't be in these 3 cells, right? 9 cannot go here, and 9 cannot go here because you have 8 in this domino. And now if you look closely, 9 has exactly 1 cell along that row. So 9 has to go here. And that puts 9 in column 1 in these 3 cells. Wow. Can't imagine how these 3 rows will get resolved just by using the non-consecutive part. This is really an impressive creation. Look at this cell. If this is a 5, row 3 column 5, then this is supposed to be a 7, but instantly that possibility is ruled out because you have 5 7 here. So if this is 5, this gets forced as 7, and both of these will be eliminated from this cell. So this is not 5, that's a 4, and which means this is a 2. And 4 in column 6, 4 in column 6 can't be here because that will be adjacent to this cell. So 4 goes here. Wow, seems tough at this point. Okay, 2 in these 2 cells gives a 2 in here. And which means 2 in row 7, if you look closely, has only 3 possibilities, and this is not possible. So 2 goes in here. Look at this cell. This can't be 2 5 8 9. It cannot be 3 4. So it has to be a 1 6 and a 7. And 7 is not possible. So this is 1 and 6. I think you have to squeeze out digits from this point. Let's look at this cell. This can't be 2 4 9. Cannot be a 1. It cannot be 6 or 7. So 1 2 4 9 6 and 7 are ruled out. So 3 5 and 8. And the fact that this contains 4 or 6 means that this cannot be 5. 5 is also ruled out because 5 becomes adjacent to this cell then. I'm sorry, consecutive. I seem to use the words interchangeably, adjacent and consecutive. So if 5 is here, it becomes consecutive to 4 or 6. So 5 is ruled out. 6. This cell is severely constrained. I didn't realize that. 1, 2, 4 are eliminated. 8 and 9 are eliminated. And notice that 3, 5 are also ruled out because 4 is adjacent to this cell. Which means that 1, 2, 4, 8, 9, 3, 5. So this has to be a 6 and 7. Wow, we almost had something there. 6, 7. So let's look at this row. Nothing much. Look at this cell. Can't be 2 5 8 9. It cannot be 6 and 7. So this is 1 3 and 4. Beautiful. 2 is adjacent to this cell, so it cannot take 1 and 3. So it has to be a 4. Wow, finally a breakthrough along row 7. A much needed one. So 4 gives a 3 here, and that puts an 8 here. And now 8 along this row has only two options, these two cells. And if the 8 goes in row 9 column 8, then this becomes 7 or 9 and both become adjacent, consecutive, I'm sorry. So this would have to be 8. Looking for a break in again. Okay, you have a triplet along column 5, 7, 8, 9 and 3, 4, 6. So remaining digits are 1, 2 and 5. You already have a 2 here, so 1 gets post here, which means this becomes a 2, 5 pair. Look at this cell. This is 3, 7 or 8. Cannot be 1, 2, 4, 9 and 5 and 6. So it's 3, 7, 8. And now in this box, only one possible cell for the 5. 5 cannot go here. So 5 can only be here. No other possibility. This will be 3, 6 and 7. I hope I'm not missing something very simple here. Okay, this is not 8. Okay, row 3 column 8, this cell can only be 1 and 6. Nothing else is possible there. 2, 4, 8, 9, 3 is ruled out. So 1, 5, 6 and 7. 7 is ruled out and 5 is also ruled out. So 1 and 6 only. I'm looking at that cell to see if we can get something there. Wow, just beautiful, guys. Look at this row 7 again. It is giving us something. 8 can't go in these two cells because of 7, 9, and there is no other cell left except this cell. Just one cell for the 8. That becomes 8, which means this becomes 7, that becomes 6, that becomes 3, that becomes 8. This is resolved now, so that's a 7, that's a 9. 7 gives me a 6 here, which gives a 1 here, 6 gives a 5 here. Excellent. Let's look at this row. Oh, let's complete column 4 now. This would be 3, 9, right? Let's finish up this first. And this would be 4, 7. And 6 gives 1 here. This is 3, 5 or 7 for the row. 5 and 7 are eliminated. So that's the 3, which means this is 5 and 7. And now if you look at row 7 again, these two cells can't take 7, which means 7 gets forced here. So these would be a 2, 9 pair. And 9 is not possible. So 9 and 2. And look at these 3 cells. They can't be 1, 3, 8. They can't be 5, 7, 9. 6 digits are eliminated. So 2, 4, 6. And these would be 5, 7, 9. For the box, you have 5, 7 here. So that's a 9. Which means these would be 5, 7. And 3 eliminates 2, 4 from here. So that's a 6. So that is a 2, 4. And 5 here gives me a 5, a 7. A 7 and 9, 5, so this is 2, can't be 4, so that's a 4, and that resolves this. This is 4, that is 6. Look at this column. These would be a 6, 9. You can't have 9 here, so that's a 6, that's a 9. And let's finish up this box. 2 goes here, 1 goes here, and 4 goes here. This can be resolved, so that's a 4 and that's a 7. And 2, 5 can be resolved, so that's a 5, that's a 2. Now 2 can't be near a 3, so that's a 9, that's a 3. And these would be a 1, 6, 8. These would be a 3, 5, and 7. Okay, so 4 can't be near 3 or 5, so that's a 7. And 2 can't be near a 3, so which means this will be a 5, this will be a 3. And 2, 4, 6, 5, 7, 9. So I need 1, 3, 8 here. And I have 3 in columns 1 and 2, so this is a 3, which means these become a 1, 8 pair. These will be 2, 4, 6. We are close to completion. And 3 can't be near 2 or 4, so that's a 6. That's a 2, 4. And column 3 can be completed, so that is a 1. And we need 6 and 8 in here. So 5 can't be near 6, so that's 8. That's 6. And the final digits can be filled in 2, 4, and 1 and 8. And with that, we've completed this really excellent creation from the author chocchip, a wonderful Sudoku. It was really a minimalistic construction, you can say, just 4 thermometers and the non-consecutive constraint to finish off the Sudoku. An excellent creation. I really enjoyed solving the Sudoku. If you enjoyed the video, please like the video and leave your comment under the video. We'll be happy to see your comment. And please do remember to subscribe to the channel. We hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.